Welcome to 60 Skills. Today's topic is the outer planets and what they mean. The outer planets in this case represent Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Very simply put, in terms of their energetic effects, Uranus results in a more refined approach to the mental body. Specifically, it generates a kind of refinement within the mental body that directly affects the neurology in a human body. Next, you have Neptune. Neptune, energetically speaking, seems to impact the astral body the greatest. Again, this represents a kind of fine-tuning or further refinement of the astral body. Finally, you have Pluto. Pluto is a controversial topic in astrology for a number of reasons. Energetically, people have both said that it tends to impact what Franz Barden in IIH would refer to as the spirit, but other groups refer to this as having a further refinement of the physical body. In terms of meditations, one of the breaking points with the astrological meditations, in this case the planetary ones, is that the meditations up through Saturn represent a kind of elevation of the various energies in the body. The outer three planets, however, can also be referred to as the path of return. And this is an interesting divergence from the Asian methods of conducting the meditative process. For lack of a better term, many of the more popular Asian systems essentially use the meditative process as a jailbreak from phenomenal reality. This has a variety of interesting doctrinal and practical effects in terms of how those practitioners approach the issue. The Western approach, on the other hand, involves a return to reality, and in this case, it is also highly related to the approach Taoism tends to take. In any event, the outer three planets, interestingly enough, result in a further refinement of the three bodies of the mental, astral, and physical body. And in this case, it happens in precisely that order, so it represents a return to physical reality after having attained some degree of refinement. This is a curious process. As someone who is only initially along this process and doing the Uranus-based meditations, I can tell you so far the effects have been quite profound. Additionally, Uranus is also considered by some to be the home of the cosmic language, or Kabbalah. So in this aspect, it is unique in that all of the spirits that you interact with from Uranus are, in fact, Kabbalah-based spirits. Curious, and I'm not sure what this ultimately means. What I will say is those meditations have been some of the most profound of my planetary meditative experience. Now, there are also a few other relationships between the outer planets and the inner planets that need to be discussed. First, Uranus is also operating via the vehicle of Mercury. So in many ways, it can be, on a planetary schedule, viewed as a further refinement of the mercurial sphere. Neptune, on the other hand, is considered a further refinement of Venus. And finally, Pluto, depending upon who you ask, is either a further refinement of Mars or a combination of Mars and Saturn. I have not been there yet, so I cannot definitively say. What I will say is that these three meditations are extremely challenging and not something to be engaged in lightly or out of idle curiosity. Finally, in terms of what the planets govern on a material level, Uranus tends to be directed around technology or advancements in the ability of human beings to manipulate their environment. Venus, on the other hand, tends to deal with mysticism. Pluto, finally, is supposedly dealing with death and riches and wealth. An interesting combination if, in fact, it is based off of either Saturn or Mars. So this is a short little talk on the function of the three outer planets in terms of the meditative process. I hope to see you again soon, and be well.